Till date, we have gone through the first 4 chapters of Natyashastra. Today, we will go through chapter 5. This is dedicated to another technical term, Purvarang. This is, as this term connotes, pre-stage process, but this is performed deliberately on a stage when a theatre group begins a play. This is preparation on the stage as to make the ground of the audience. So, we can see there was ground state of Indian theories of grammar, Indian theories of acting, Indian theories of communication. Purvarang is a theme where all kinds of wisdom are encapsulated. This is derived from Indian philosophy, Indian religion, and the only religion is here the Indian poetics, Indian art, the only spirituality, the only metaphysics, the only science. The only aim was to attain the supreme bliss at that period, the universal I, the absolute supreme consciousness. This was the only aim for the seers at that time in pre-Vedic period, in Rig Vedic period and afterwards. So, that philosophy reflects in Natyashastra in its all chapters. That philosophy reflects into Shastra of Nirukti or etymology in Indian grammar, in Indian poetics, and that is the Indian theory of communication, where they provide a space, a wide space where a white bird is flying, or we can see white shadow of consciousness. You know, when there is light before us, it creates black shadow. If the light is behind the object, it creates silhouette, and if the light is inside, it creates white shadow. This is actually metaphor. This is the immovable movement of Indian philosophy. This we are telling metaphorically. So, their aim was how to make a space to attain in commune with the supreme bliss, in commune with absolute truth, because we have this dichotomy, the body and mind all the time, the interrelationship between body and mind. If mind feels weak, body goes weak. If body feels weak, mind goes weak. Or trichotomy, the body, mind and soul, the Atman. So, how are we going to make the unity among these 3 pivotal components, body, mind and Atman? This is the basic concept, and on the basic concept they creates Purvarang of the theatre. There was a concept in Vedic period of Atman which is ever free. Abhinavgupta coined a term Pratibha for this Atman, which is ever creative genius, ever creative dynamic force. This we have already discussed in our last lectures. We are just recapitulating. In Indian poetics or Indian aesthetics, we find this term Pratibha in medieval period, especially in the period of Abhinavgupta and Anandavardhan, in all Indian poetics and texts. Therefore, the Indian philosophy lies in this domain, as there must have a space where the observer and the observed, a thinker and the thought, the observer and the thing to be observed, this duality go smoothly. It creates duality, the mind matter duality. If it is in contrast in relation, it is drama, and when it is united, it is communique or communication or sadharanikaran of drama. After this chapter, we will discuss it in the chapter 6, the following chapter, the chapter of rasa. But in this chapter in Purvarang, we will see that all necessary components utilized in a stage play are shown in brief manners. The music, the dance, the theme, about the author, about the play. The initial descriptions are combined mixed in these first initial portions of the drama called Purvarang. So, in order to have in commune with the supreme bliss with in relation to individual soul, they try to make such kind of activity as drama art, which reflects this philosophy. So, philosophy is in the fundamental ground and the activity, the dramatic activity on foreground, they go together, and at the same time which entertains the entire audience. As I already told you, it is called Lokvritta. So, we can find all the philosophies here on the same stage at the same moment. In Indian concept, moment is not passing, that in terms of hour, minutes and second, this moment is passing. Indian philosophy does not say so. Indian philosophy says this moment is now, this now moment, and this now moment is eternal. It never passes or surpasses, it is already there. It has beginningless and endless, it is already there. It is static as well as dynamic. So, it is immovable movement, eternal movement. Like a timeline, in a timeline we can, if you put a visual in the middle portion, so there is something before and there is something after. So, this before is, we can say, past, and this is future and this is present, but the timeline is same. So, entire timeline, beginningless and endless, is called one single moment of God. The one single philosophy is moving, is processing all the time. Indian grammar, Indian poetics and Indian Natyashāstra tells about that. The treatise of Indian drama art is Natyashastra, telling all the nuances of these components. Therefore, from chapter 1 onwards, we find the discussion with the sages in dialogical form, the discussion about chari, mandala, chand, shabd, words. After that, we understand rasa. The understanding of rasa is very important with the chapter of 6, because this is from Indian mind. This term went all over the world, all the stages of drama art. The understanding of bhav is in chapter 7, and the understanding of abhinay, these are all in following chapters, chapter 8, 9, 10, 11, like facial expressions and movement, that helps us to understand another chapters as mandala, as chand or shabd, because here shabd is not shabda but shabda brahma. That is the another process, another way to attain the delight. We were discussing mandala in our previous lectures. Mandala, again, if we go into the domain of etymology, nirukti, mandala means where we find safety, security, which secures our activity, that which saves our entire activity, our entire life, is denoted symbolically known as mandala. This for the first time we find in Buddhist Tantra, as we already discussed. If we visit, if we go, if we walk any Buddhist monasteries, we find two things. One thing like feeling wise, the silence, the serenity, monstrous silence, and the other is mandala. Its nirukti is man and dala. Mandala means there are two words, compound words, they create a different meaning. It is, you can find it is designed on the roof of the Buddhist monasteries, triangular way, rectangular way. The true meaning of mandala means the attitude, the situation which is invisible, which protects our activity, which protects our pratibha, our creative genius. This is called mandala. That is the way the stage craft or the stage design is discussed by Bharat in Natyashastra in other chapters, chapter 11 and 12. How mandala deals with the drama art, how mandala deals with the stage craft, how any stage is designed and configured in different positions. That is why in stage design we can find many sections of stage for the movements of actor. Okay. So, this is actually in order to make sadharanikaran. One cannot make audience laugh or weep if he does not know where is the exact position on the stage. If he is crying or weeping from this position, or if he is laughing or uttering dialogue in another position, he cannot make sadharanikaran. He cannot make audience weep because there is something fixed on the stage, this we know. So, because there is certain grammar of the stage, because there are 36 portions, if we divide all the stage in all 36 positions geometrically, there is the position where we can find how to utter a word with suspense, how to utter a dialogue with secrecy. There are all details in terms of swaras. It is in other chapters like Udatta, Anudatta and Swarit. Swarit is our natural voice, our timbre. On the basis of Swarit, you can identify who he or she is, my friend or someone else. This is Swarit. Udatta means to speak louder, the aggravated voice, the louder voice. Our non-verbal gestures may be silence or non-verbal gestures means our hand movements, our limbs. Non-verbal gestures speaks more louder than our verbal speech. So, when our speech work is aggravated or our non-verbal language is aggravated louder, then it is termed as udatta. When we are in a whispering sound, our tonal quality becomes different, that is against udatta, that is anudatta. So, if we use this first position, means the upper left of the stage, that is the position of anudatta, not udatta. So, deliver the dialogue related with any secret scene or any secrecy which I am going to communicate towards the audience or to another co-artist active at the same moment on the stage. This is the position. The from the audience actor's point of view, the left position, left upper stage to speak in whispering sound, anudatta. If we make loud oneself, if the actor tries to loud himself on this position, that will not convey the message, that will not convey the soul of the theme, soul of the sequence. We cannot make the expected result from the audience, the feedback. So, there are so many places designed by says Bharat from where the actor should weep, the actor should laugh, the actor should loud, the actor should calm down or whisper. These are the nuances of acting methods described in Natyashastra. This all discussion we understand through the theory of mandala. Mandala means the position which protects our activity, which convey our activity through proper channel, through proper way. So, this we are discussing in chapter 5, it is also there in chapter 12, and I think this is the effect from Buddhist Tantra or Buddhism, because there is a lot of discussion in Chinese Tripitak, in Indian Tripitak, Abhidhamma Pitak. The Tripitak means the 3 boxes full of the wisdom of Buddha. So, one of them is Abhidhamma Pitak, where we find the use of mandala, the meaning of mandala, the intended meaning of mandala. Intended means there is an intention. In technical term it is called nitarth and neyarth. The intended meaning of mandala, which is known as nitarth. In Vedic period there are 2 terms to understand the word. This is vachya, vachak, sambandh. Vachya and vachak means one who is delivering the word is vachak and the meaning is going, is communicating is vachya, the part, the pathya, the text, and the ras which is going towards the audience is called vachyarth, the meaning of spoken word, but is in Buddhist Tantra it is nitarth, the intentional meaning of the text or of the word. So, mandala helps us how to deliver our dialogue from which position of the stage. It decides, it determines, it prompts an actor to speak a particular kind of dialogue, a particular feeling of dialogue from a certain designed position, from a certain designed mandala. The entire design is called mandala in Sanskrit term in Natyashāstra. This leads towards or proceeds towards the chapter 15. Now, at present we are discussing chapter 5, the Purvaranga. There is a relationship between chapter 5 and chapter 15 which discusses about word, emotion and the chand, the lyrics, right. So, the word here we can find amazing interpretation of the word, the amazing beautiful interpretation we can find in this chapter from 5 to 15. For the first time in Natyashāstra we find Bharat says one cannot feel anything without any word. Usually we feel that or we think that what we feel emotionally we express through words, but he is telling something in contrast. You can argue that in cave period when the people, the primitive mind had no language, how could they express their feeling? So, feeling is first inside and then expression word is outside, but Bharat Muni is saying no, word is the primary ground, the substratum. On the basis of word feeling arises and then we put that feeling into the words. So, words is in the substratum, then feeling, then the spoken language. So, what is this thing that is called word? What he is saying word? Actually, there are 3 stages of word. This is called Pashyanti state of word, and then the state of Madhyama, and then the state of Vaikhari. What we speak, what we hear, the word, sound, we hear always a word and sound. Without sound we cannot hear. So, that state is the surface level of the word, the substratum. This is Vaikhari, what we hear and speak. When we speak, but nobody can hear, this is called the state of Madhyama, and there is already a substratum of word called Pashyanti. Because of Pashyanti, we can feel, the feeling arises, thought arises, and that thought is called Madhyama. Then thought delivered in speech is Vaikhari. So, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari, or Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti. This is Vaikhari. I am speaking and you are hearing, you are listening to my voice. This is Vaikhari, and what we are thinking, this is Madhyama, and that thought is constituted by word and emotion. That word and emotion came out from the substratum called Pashyanti, because we have a mindset. See, we have a preoccupied mind. That is why I was asking in a hermeneutic way that preoccupation of mind is not necessary to understand this drama art. Pre-understanding is necessary. We have a mindset that we have feeling, we have emotion, and the expression of that feeling is word. The expression is our facial expression, mukhrag or the word. No, that is the wrong way. That is the conventional way, but that is not the way prescribed by Bharat in Natyashāstra. From our Indian poetics, Indian grammar, Bharat says something different. He is saying word already exists in human mind. From that emotion arises. I can give you a task or exercise. If you take 1 second or 2 seconds, just contemplate your mind, just go inside your mind. You cannot find an emotion or feeling without any word. After this lecture, you can exercise. If you put your mind with mind itself in silence, and if any emotional word is arising, you cannot articulate without any word, without any emotion, because another theory of words or spoken word was propounded by a sage Maharishi Dandi or Acharya Dandi, who gave for the first time the Indian theory of linguistics. He says all the things, all the emotions, the entire world depends upon word. No word, no world. Because of word, the world came into light, came into existence. In the light of word, this world, the magnificent world, could not come into existence if there was no word. Everything appears from the word, Shabd. To describe this theory of linguistics, he created a play, Dashakumar Charita. To describe this theory of linguistics, he created a play, Dashakumar Charita, and the basic work is titled Kavya Darsh. But Dashakumar Charita is a play where he tried to convey his own philosophy of linguistics, the science of language. What we find in later period, in medieval period, the text of play of Acharya Dandi, where he say the all things are dependent on word. So, in the third shloka, the third verses of chapter 15, utilized in chapter 5 Purvaranga, says Bharat describes and confirms the same philosophy. Shabd is bhavashrit. Shabd bhavashrit means word is not dependent on bhava. Bhava is dependent on shabd. Means any bhav is always dependent on shabd, right. All the emotions are dependent on words. We cannot imagine, we cannot improvise, we cannot feel, we cannot make any emotion inside us without any word. Clear? If there is word, there can be image. If there is word, there can be word as thought. If there is word, there can be feeling or emotion. That is an amazing theory. That is another acting method. If we wipe out all the words, we cannot feel. So, we will have to go deeper in Indian theory of linguistics. It describes the entire of linguistics in essence, as in 4th chapter we found, as in the chapter 5. So, we can continue this topic, because any topic described in Natyashastra in any chapter, it is too long, elaborately discussed. It sees word in 4 phases, as I described you, the Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari with Para, right. So, in Indian theory of linguistics says it describes the entire of linguistics in essence as in 4 parts, as I told you. So, Para is the transcendental, the 4th state. Para, the 4th state of word after Pashyanti.